Do you know what a core wound is? Have you heard of this phrase before? In this video, we will go through the definition of what a core wound is, how they are formed, their connection to trauma, and how each attachment style has unique core wounds. More importantly, I will teach you how you can start healing.
Hey there, and welcome to Attachment with Elise, your go-to place for cracking the code on attachment, relationships, and holistic wellness. Ready to ditch that anxiety and get anchored in love and life? Let's do this!
Hi there, my name is Elise, and I'm a holistic wellness coach specializing in integrated attachment theory, and I help anxiously attached women overcome their core wounds and attract that secure, loving partnership that they've always desired and truly deserve. Do you ever feel unworthy, have the fear of abandonment, or feel like no matter what you do, it's just never good enough? These feelings aren't random. They're actually rooted in your core wounds. And these core wounds, which are usually imprinted upon us at a young age in childhood, influence the way we feel about ourselves, our behaviors, how we act, and how we think. And all of this severely influences our relationships. So what are core wounds? Core wounds are those deep-seated beliefs that are at the base of everything we think and feel about ourselves. And how they are developed usually is in childhood, when something happens to us that we do not know how to process. Because as a child, you think that you are the center of everything. At a certain age, you start to realize that you are separate from everybody else, but it takes a while. And so you think that mommy and daddy divorcing is your fault. Or you think that having a parent that is neglectful is because you are bad or unworthy in some way. When we can't process these emotions or make the meaning out of them, we make the meaning about ourselves. The reason why childhood is so impactful in shaping our core wounds is because our brain, when we're young, is in a state of theta most of the time. Theta is the direct access to your subconscious mind. So whatever your main thoughts are as a child is programmed into your brain a lot easier. Around 8 years old, we elevate out of theta, and we're more into alpha and the other brain waves. And so we're less likely to be programmed. However, there are still ways to program your subconscious mind, and I will get into this a bit later when we talk about healing. So how are core wounds developed? Well, it's usually as a result of neglect, of our needs not being met in childhood, or having a lot of inconsistency in childhood. Inconsistency in terms of presence of your parents or caregivers, inconsistency with the amount of love that you receive, or the changing feelings of your parents. Our perception of the world and ourselves is shaped by these experiences, which influence how we handle difficulties in our life, whether it's with relationships, at work, or at school. We see the world through our core wounds, and this affects everything. We can build stronger relationships with other people and become more competent within ourselves if we can heal these core wounds. So as I've mentioned before many times, the way that things get into our subconscious mind is through repetition and emotion. When we look at our childhood, it doesn't have to be some major traumatic event that influences our core wounds. It could be small, minor events that happen repeatedly. So if you are a child and you're excited about this drawing that you just made and you want to show your parents, you go over to your dad to show, oh, look what I made, and your dad dismisses you. Your dad's busy working, drinking, or doing whatever else. If this happens over and over, you start to internalize that. You start to think that you're not worthy of your dad's attention, that there's something wrong with you. This can even take place in your adult life. A major trauma in your adult life, like being betrayed, like if you were cheated on, that can influence your core wounds. That can create a core wound for you. So it can be one major traumatic event or smaller events that happen repeatedly over time. The interesting thing here is that each attachment style has their own unique core wounds. You can see in the diagram here, anxious attachment, their core wounds are often, I am alone, I will be abandoned, I am not enough, I am rejected. Avoidant attachments are usually, I am helpless or hopeless, I will be betrayed, there's something wrong with me, my needs don't matter. Then there's the fearful avoidant that has aspects of both the anxious and the dismissive avoidant. They are unique in that way where they exhibit both the attachment wounds of the anxious, like I am alone, I am rejected, and also of the dismissive avoidant, where they feel like they are going to be smothered, that they can't trust you. Betrayal is a very big core wound for the fearful avoidant. However, one core wound that all three of the insecure attachment styles has is I am not safe. And it might not be something that you think consciously, but when you look at the root of a lot of the thoughts and feelings that you have, it's a result of not feeling safe. So not feeling safe in your environment, not feeling safe in your relationships, not feeling safe financially. Now we look at the secure attachment. They don't necessarily have core wounds. Yes, they will have some wounding from childhood, from school, from other parts of their life, but it doesn't impact them the same way where they have triggers about it. The insecure attachment styles, they are triggered by their core wounds, so it can cause a big reaction. Whereas the secure, it might hit on something, it might hit on a nerve, but it's not going to have this huge reaction that's going to have major changes in their life. So let's give an example of how to see if you're operating from a core wound. Say your partner didn't text you back, and now it's been a few hours. What is that making inside of you? If you're getting anxious, if you're starting to feel like you're not safe in the relationship, if you feel like, oh my God, they're going to leave me, that is your core wound acting up. Or let's take a different one. Say you're with your partner way too much. They always want to be around you. They always are checking in on you, always trying to be there for you. But are you feeling like they're getting too close? Do you feel the impulse to repulse them and to push them away? That is another core wound acting up. So how do we heal our core wounds? Well, the first step is awareness. We have to be aware of what our core wounds are. This is why when I do my work with my clients, the first thing that we focus on is core wounds. Because once we know what they are, we can start to heal them. The second thing that we do, once we have our core wounds, is we try to poke holes in them. See, our core wounds are these stories that we tell ourselves. So you can have one thing happen to you, like your partner not texting you, and there can be many reasons for that. You might be thinking, oh my God, they're going to leave me. But in reality, maybe their battery ran out. Maybe they're on a work call and they're busy. Maybe some emergency happened. There are several reasons for why this behavior might be happening. When we know that we have that core wound of I will be abandoned, I will be rejected, we can have that awareness, okay, I'm operating from this mindset right now, but is that actually true? We start to poke holes in these stories. Once we start doing that, we can start reprogramming our subconscious mind. Another way that you can heal your core wounds is by being with a secure partner. For instance, say you have that core wound of I'm not enough, I'm going to be abandoned. If you have a secure partner that can give you that reassurance over time, if they're showing up, if they are expressing to you how much you are valued, you can start to repair those core wounds because the evidence is not there anymore. And so we start to reprogram our mind with repetition and emotion that they do show up for me all the time. They are there for me. They tell me and show me that they actually love me. Maybe this is the way it actually is. And you start to have those kinds of thoughts instead. Now, I want to finish with this. While core wounds are very crucial to your healing and major parts of why you do what you do. It's not impossible to cure. There are ways out. There are ways that you can start healing. And one way you can do that is by working with me. If you would like to get connected with me one-on-one, I am happy to work with you and help you to overcome these core wounds. You can check out my website, which is linked below, and I invite you to set up a 15-minute one-on-one call for free to get to know each other and see if this is something that we can actually work on together. I invite you to put some comments down below. What are your core wounds? What are you struggling with? Have you noticed those situations that cause triggers in you? Pay attention to that, because that's going to show you and lead you to your core wounds. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'd be happy to communicate with you. Core wounds might run deep, but with awareness and effort, healing is definitely possible. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned to the next video where I'll teach you how to equilibrate these core wounds. Take care.